absolutely did, and they're all tournament level players that gave Gonzaga the toughest test up until what they're going to see tonight.
Well, they lose, to your point, two of their best guys. Probably their two biggest NBA potential guys were out. They lose to SC twice. They lose to San Diego State this year. They lose their last 4 games. They limp into the first 4. And here they are. Bruin James, how you feeling? You got a day or two to get over this now. You're on the opening drive. Good morning, James.
Good morning, guys. Yeah. They called. Did you hear they called Johnny Juzang now? They call him Baby Kobe. And
easy.
And yeah, it's we had a great run. Next year, Johnny Juzang's not going to be there. So unfortunately, he's going to be in the pros. But we're going to get the core of the team back. Jaime Jaquez most likely will stay. Jalen Hill, man, Jalen Hill, pride of San Bernardino County at Wanda High School, the IE, baby, played a great game. He was out earlier in the year. I don't know what happened. They won't talk about it. Played a great game. Singleton, Bishop Montgomery, had a great game. Riley, man, these guys had an awesome game. And to go out like that, man, he shot it. And I seen it go in, man. I was just, oh my God. And I followed the whole thing, and I was just like, it went in.
So what's that feel? So walk with me. James, walk with me. So Juzang misses, gets his rebound, puts it back. You pretty much think, all right, we're going double overtime, we're going to wear these clowns down. And then that happens. I mean, that range of emotion is what?
It's just like, it was disappointing. The first part was disappointing, but then after I got all the phone calls and everything like that, my phone blew up, and they were just like, "Hey, great game! You know, we were going for them. You know, guys that weren't, you know, that were just, you know, on the fence. They didn't know if they wanted Gonzaga because they were afraid Gonzaga was going to blow UCLA out. So they're like, great game, you know, man, it's a heartbreaker." You know, I just got texts, phone calls, texts, and then after a while, I sat outside, and you know, we played a great tournament. We did all right. We did good. The UCLA brand is back, guys.
It was terrific. All right, man. I appreciate the call. And great run.
Can I say one thing? The guy that calls in, and he's always on my. I don't know who he is, but Friday he called later on. Hey, tell that guy thank you very much, and to all the people out there, the UCLA Bruin, man, it was a great game. All right, guys, take care.
All right, James, don't be a stranger. Be well. So Juzang became my favorite player in the tournament, I think, after Jalen Suggs. A, because he's from Tarzana. B, Johnny Juzang sounds like a superhero, doesn't it? Like it's the best name. Give me a better name in this tournament. Johnny Juzang.
It has that daytime, like, Nickelodeon vibe to it. Johnny Juzang.
Johnny Juzang. He could be a cartoon character. He could be a soap opera star. He could be a rock star. Johnny Juzang. But easy on the baby Kobe stuff. Just tap the brakes. They did that to Harold Miner at USC years ago, called him Baby Jordan. How'd that work out? He was drafted high. He kind of looked a little facially like Jordan. He had the bald head at USC. He did crazy things. Easy on that, because those were labels where initially they sound so flattering, but they're just so hard to live up to. So is Juzang like a half and done? Is he an NBA guy? Is he done?
This is a great opportunity for him. There's no doubt that all these guys are going to test NBA water, which is nice that they can do. As long as he doesn't officially sign an agent, he can have an agent help him. We know that by now. Get the feedback and make his decision.
I want to talk about Jalen Suggs. And there was so much talk over the weekend about college basketball and how much money did Jalen Suggs make himself this weekend. And would this have been possible if he actually went and made money? We're going to get into that when we come back. 505-246-0610. Danny Gonzalez, top of the hour. KHQ in Spokane, Sports Director Dennis Passion is going to join us from Indianapolis. Dennis is a 36-year veteran of the Spokane sports scene, and he's going to walk us through this Gonzaga team, get you ready for the national championship game tonight from the Gonzaga. It's amazing. And then there's Baylor. Then there's Baylor. There is another team that's going to show up tonight. Hey, who's watching your home? Who was your security? Was out doing some cleanup on Saturday. The IPS guy rolled by and talked to him for a while. They come by every day. International Protective Service protects my home. IPS. I know you see their vehicles around town. I know you probably wonder, what are they all about? They are home security and business security, private security company, armed, trained security officers who are vested in this community. And I trust them to watch my home, and I suggest you do as well, and don't wait until it's too late. I know it's one of those things where maybe you try to put off, and don't be a victim. Don't be a victim. And if you're going out of town, and we're getting into the spring season now, where, I don't know, 82 degrees would make spring. But maybe you're taking a road trip, you're going to be out of town for a while. IPS will come by and do exterior checks on your home, pick up the newspaper in the mail if you want them to, roll up the garbage cans on garbage day, and just give your home that lived-in look and check in on it. Give IPS a call. I think you're going to be glad you did. I'm glad I did. They give us peace of mind. The phone number is area code 505. 897-2420, that's 505-897-2420, or you can visit them online. Their phone number is IPS. Their website is IPSglobal.com.
New Balance Albuquerque, shoes that fit and perform better.
So I guess on the spot auto detailing decided they're not paying their bill, or there was a mix-up. Their credit card bill, still showed the contract. No, this is what you agreed. Nope, this is what you've been charged us. Well, yeah, that was a mix-up. Sorry. Nope. Believe you were out. So, oh wow. I never got my card done. This time, so they're done. Yeah.
You want the other audio?
Yeah. Let me you sent something. It was
Baylor's three-pointer.
You know what? I think we should Baylor. They're in this game.
The only other cut that I have on that.
Okay. Yeah, and then we won't play anything coming back from Dennis. We'll try to get out early at 9:09. Give Dennis his time. Okay. Do you remember?
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports.
Very, very vocal about one of his players being recruited to the G League, the NBA Developmental League, who had already signed with him, that they knew was going to be a one and done. He went and made money and played in the G League and got ready for the draft. He'll be in the draft, the NBA draft this summer. And that's a way to go. And there are more options for players, and I think Mick Cronin was more upset with the way it was done, right? That a kid had already committed, and now you're coming after him. You got overseas, LaMelo Ball did that. You've got the G League guys are doing that. JJ, I would argue with you that Jalen Suggs made himself more money with that shot in the NCAA tournament. Now, granted, not everybody's going to be able to do it, and it was right place, right time, right shot, big shot. Endorsement-wise, money-wise, iconic-wise, for the rest of his life, probably made himself more money with that shot than he would have made playing in the G League, even if he made $500,000 this year.
I'm going to push back because what money are anyone making off those moments from college?
So you don't think when he goes and does signing shows, when there's
sure, okay, down the line, but I don't. When we're
well, that's what I didn't say yesterday.
Yeah, but
I didn't say now.
If you're an 18-year-old, you're not worried about what autograph signing you're doing when you're 55. It's just about he's more nationally known than anyone in the G League. And I'll let you get back to your point on Mick Cronin in the G League because I'm gonna 100% agree with you. I bet with where you're going on it, but it's a decision. Like, yeah, Jalen Suggs is the most high-profile dude. He's gonna have that over those other guys. Yeah. Those other guys are still gonna be lottery picks.
They are, and we'll get into it because I'm not concerned when he's 55. Can Chris Jenkins make money off that shot? I think there's a way, and they will monetize it. Don, who do you got? You got two in there, Bob? Dan? All right, Dan. It went from John to Don to Dan. Let's go to Dan. What's up, Dan?
Good morning. Yeah,
good morning.
I had a stupid Bluetooth on. He was having a hard time hearing me.
What's up, man?
Good morning. How are you all today?
Good. How you still got a Texas team left?
We've got a Texas team riding the train to the end. I think I'm going to ride it all the way into the station there, Jeff. But you know, I really thought Houston was going to put up more of a fight. I'm disappointed with that. I realized after watching that game how good Baylor actually is. I mean, they shut that team down, and kudos to the Cougs this year, and hopefully they have a strong season next year again. But James, congratulations on your awesome UCLA team, man. That was by far the best college game I've watched in many, many years. And boy, they had Gonzaga on the ropes here. He misses that shot. They go into a double overtime. Timmy's got 4 fouls.
Yep.
More than likely going to foul again, Jeff. And they've got their shot. But, man, that shot is just – and, you know, you're talking about money. Well, the coach is going to get his bonus for getting them to where he got them. It's almost unfair that those young men don't get some sort of compensation. And I know that's a real touchy subject, but, man, what a game, what a shot. The dejection on the UCLA team was just heartbreaking, but they played one heck of a season.
I'll go back to something.
American basketball, collegiate basketball. So even in the pandemic and even in all the dark times we've had, they put on a show. Thank you to the teams. Thank you to the NCAA for doing a great job on the tournament. Let's go, Baylor. You guys have a great day.
See you, Dan. You're welcome. I'm going to go back to something he'll remember. This is before your time, but back when ABC used to do the Wide World of Sports every weekend, and Jim McKay would voice the Open, and they would bring to you Circling the Globe to bring you the constant variety of sports, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. And it was that dude wiping out on the ski run. That's what it was, man. And you got the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and everything was so raw and pure. He mentioned coaches are going to get their bonuses. So I'm going to go off script with you a little bit here, because you know where I am. I don't. It bothers me when I hear that these people say these players are exploited and that they're not getting compensated at all. Because I think We're talking about 1%, 2%, and I think the majority of student athletes utilize the value of a scholarship and get out of college debt free, like so many of us would have. But JJ, this is off script for me. I wouldn't mind a model that shows me a bit of revenue sharing in the tournament, right? And I'm not looking to give these guys hundreds of millions of dollars. And no matter what you would give them, it would be controversial, and I know in some cases it wouldn't be enough. And I know that the schools, the universities, the conferences rely on this funding to pay for so much other. You know, it's between football and basketball. That's what pays for softball and golf and tennis and everything else. I get it. And I haven't thought this through much because I don't know what the model would look like. And I know there's athletic directors sitting here saying, shut up, man. I mean, we need every penny of that, right? Because and in 95% of the cases they do. But I wouldn't mind seeing some sort of a monetary reward for the student athletes who get to, I don't know, the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, something along those lines.
Yeah, you could, like almost like a prize, like you're playing them for it in like the TBT tournament, something along those lines. Hey, you win it, you get this little extra bonus. It's on the table. I do think name, image, and likeness, which is something that I think a lot of people in this area are going, oh, we should have probably just jumped on this a lot quicker, and then we probably wouldn't have to be sitting in front of the Supreme Court right now. But it's a situation that you're going to have to cap it at some point. There's a lot of work to be done, but ultimately, yeah, there's football, college basketball. That's going to be the focus of it. But if you dive into it so much more, like half of the top 15, top 20 most followed athletes, collegiate athletes, are female athletes. Like, so if you go down this path, which it's a lot more than like the 2-3 minutes that we have, it opens the door for opportunities so much more so than just a moment for a Jalen Suggs, just a Trevor Lawrence along those lines. And to keep it here, look, like, what do you think some of the cross-country runners could do at the University of New Mexico? Like, opens them up to a new market. So there absolutely is a positive for student athletes outside of just the big two, which we focus on. And it's reminders that, yeah, they have a scholarship. Some of those athletes don't. If we do expand it across the board, they may have to split it, etc. when you get to other Olympic sports. So there's still positives in it for student athletes. It's not going to ruin the system because you get a reminder of, oh, yeah, the big-time moments have that trickle-down effect for college athletics.
Well, I think the NIL stuff, the name, image, and likeness, is one of those things where I think we all kind of sit around and go, well, yeah, obviously, and nothing seems very obvious. To your point, let's say Winnie Colati, who won a national championship, could she, in this market where it's such an active market, do endorsements for a athletic footwear store or a gym or something, and I won a national championship and I wore these shoes and I bought them, or I trained with these guys or whatever. Yeah, there's endorsement. Now, would she get the amount of money that the quarterback at Alabama would get? She would not, but the opportunities would be there for whatever the market was able to bear. Jalen Suggs right now in Spokane. Do you think Jalen Suggs could get an endorsement in Spokane? I mean, let alone nationally, let alone like not even just Spokane, because when we're talking NIL, Jalen Suggs could be on a Wheaties box if they still did Wheaties box, right? Or Jalen Suggs could be in a Gatorade commercial, or Jalen Suggs could be pick it. I mean, take that shot, take Jalen Suggs' name, image, and likeness, and somebody would have created a commercial that would be in the game today. It would have been turned around, and he could have had an endorsement today. Correct?
I'm Jalen Suggs for Bob Spokane Subs.
Let me figure
Mine
it out.
Has steak.
Yeah, but I hit the half-court shot to win the game. Oh. I made the shot. Damn. Yeah, look, there's so much there. And that's why college basketball is still viable and still will be viable. When we come back, do you want to get into the Mick Cronin thing and why he was so upset with the G League coming and recruiting his player and what that means for college basketball? Danny Gonzalez is going to be with us at 8 o'clock. We're going to talk a little about football. Beautiful. Gosh, beautiful day. You couldn't have asked for anything better out there on Saturday for their Cherry Silver game, or Silver Cherry if you prefer, but I think it's cherry silver. I saw it's silver cherry. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Bobcats producing on the radio side. I just see a screen there. What do I got there? Is that who is that, dude? Who's behind that mask? Is that J-Pole? That's Alden. That's Alden? Aaron? Aaron? I saw J-Pole earlier. I swear he was there at some point. All right, Aaron's producing on the TV side. On the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Dude, I see a hat, one.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Car Crafters is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green. And keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Hayes. I'm with the New Mexico Army National Guard, and I'm from Tucson, Arizona.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Greg Martinez. I'm with the New Mexico Army National Guard, and I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Hi, I'm Marilena Fernandez. I'm with the New Mexico Army National Guard, and I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
The New Mexico Army National Guard is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school athletics.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Art Sandoval in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Meet Greg Shamus. He's a State Farm agent, which means he's here to help with all this. But it's easier to just remember he's here to help life go right. Call State Farm agent Greg Shamus at 505-898-3648 today.
At New Mexico Highlands University, you're more than a student, you're family. Whether you're taking courses in Las Vegas, Santa Fe, Rio Rancho, Albuquerque, or Farmington, you'll get that one-on-one attention to inspire you to reach your goals. Let New Mexico Highlands help take your passion and accelerate it into a career and fulfilling life path. Find out why New Mexico Highlands is the right choice for you. Log on to newmexicohighlands.com today.
Oh my, what an end to a dominant first half performance for the Baylor Bears. Mitchell with a three right in the eye and a 45-20 halftime lead.
It ended up being 78-59, Baylor over Houston in a game that it was over about 10 minutes in. I mean, I couldn't tell you much about the second half. I started doing stuff. Addie had friends over and got stuff ready, and it was like, damn, I was all ready. We did everything all day. I'll tell you about we had Toy Story Day at our house, which is a big deal. I'll tell you about that later. Yeah, and then went out to Lobo football. But, yeah, Baylor, look, there's another team. And everybody's talking Gonzaga, and I get it, man. That was exhilarating. It was a fun watch. I want to watch it again. I hope we get to do like that was just fun. It was a fun watch. And it was amazing. We had dads coming to pick up kids and walking through the house. Oh, that's on. And I'm like, dude, how are you not how are people not watching this? And then the kids that were left, when I went, and they all came in, what? And I rewound it, and they're like, oh, dude, even the non-sports fans. But there's another team, Baylor, and boy, they're good.
Yeah, there's no disrespect to Baylor. They went out there, handled their business, and dominated. There's nothing to talk about. It's the team that we thought was going to show up did. We just thought Houston might keep it a little bit closer. But I think 99% of us picked Baylor to win that game. They just did it in ridiculous fashion. And now I do think I'm right there with you. I want Gonzaga to win. I'm pulling for Gonzaga. But it's going to be hard to pick against Baylor because of what their guards do defensively. They're not going to give you those second chances. And we saw, this UCLA, the kind of trouble that they gave Gonzaga. Well, this Baylor team's going to do that plus some because of what they do defensively.
Yeah, I think if Timmy's really good. As much as he may not look the part, he's really good, and so that may be a little advantage for them. Worst text I got. I don't even know if I should share this with you. Somebody said, I don't know if they asked it a question, or I think they said Houston looks like they think they're playing Hawaii in the New Mexico Bowl. I'm like, damn, that ain't right. They were now in that game they were double-digit favorites and got beat by 14 points. This one they were big underdogs. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hi, Rudy.
Good morning,
Rudy. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what a weekend, huh?
Mm-hmm. Really good.
I mean, it was really a great weekend. Got together with my family yesterday. My mom, my dad, my brothers and sisters, my nieces, nephews over at my house. Everybody's vaccinated pretty much, and the kids aren't in danger, so it was really nice to have a family gathering. It's been a really long time, so that felt great. I'm at the game Saturday, and I asked my brother, what does this look like? And he said something that I think is absolutely true. He said, it looks like hope. That's what Saturday looked like. It looked like hope. it looked like finally
that's fair.
people are going to lock in and get interested in Lobo football. I don't think I've ever seen that many people for a Jerry Silver game, ever. I'm trying to remember when I've seen more than 3,000 people.
No, it's been so long since we had any semblance of that. It was, look, I don't know if there were 5,000 at one point and 4,500 going through there throughout the day. All I know is that West Lot was full. There was a lot of tailgating, and everybody was in a good mood. The weather was perfect. It was, you were watching football, and to your point, Rudy and JJ, I think we felt this for the last bunch of months. People are at least interested, and you do have hope that there's a football team that's going to perform to where you want it to and is on the right trajectory. And I'm not sure you've had that in you pick your number of years.
And all the kids played well. I mean, there were some drops. You don't like to see that. But I thought Trey Hall went out and made a case for himself. You didn't get to see Isaiah. Bear Milicic looks like a pretty big kid that can play some quarterback. So I'm really excited. I really think this team has a chance to do some things next year that we haven't done in a long time, like get to 500, maybe over 500, and be in every game. The game Saturday with Gonzaga was just when you see college basketball like that, that's what made March Madness. So, it's going to be a great game tonight, and thanks for all you guys do to keep hope for us sports fans all the way through the pandemic. Can't thank you enough.
Well, we'll see you.
Well, take care.
All right, we're going to get into the McCronin stuff a little later when we have more time. I don't want to just jam this in the top of the hour, but he hit on something. When was the last time you heard people talking about the spring football game? First of all, we haven't had one, right? When Bob got here, this is nothing against Bob Davie now because his roster was depleted, and I understand why that first year the first couple of years. He just didn't have enough people, enough linemen to go out and have a spring game, but it never came back. So this was really, and then last year they were planning on one, and COVID shut everything down. This is the first Terry Silver game in damn near a decade. But even when you had them, JJ, they weren't a big deal. I'm not telling you this was a huge deal, but for the people who were out there, it was a pretty huge deal. And if you went out there and you had the feel what was going on around there, people are talking about it. We're going to talk to Danny coming up in the next segment. You're going to hear the excitement in his voice. I think Rudy put it the right way. There's hope because it is, for me, I called it progress. It was a different feel, man, than I've felt for football around here in a long time.
Yeah, you're still riding that wave of last season, the honeymoon period of Danny Gonzalez, people buying in, seeing the progress, excited for him and what this program can be. And so it's something. Like, and that's what I'd say. It is definitely something, as you said, progress along the way. Because I was stunned when I pulled into that lot Saturday morning, the amount of people that were there. I was legitimately shocked. I'm like, all right, maybe a couple hundred people show up. No, there was, what they announced, almost, I wrote it down, the exact number.
4,500.
Yeah, but I was amazed. And there were people, we showed up about 10:30, and there are already people that had been out there, tents are up, tailgating, and I was shocked. I was blown away by the energy, the response, and that is like 4,500 for a spring game that hasn't been around for a decade, for a football team that just won 2 games last year. But it does show people are buying in, that there's hope. People are excited. They want something to believe in, and this sports community will support you.
All right. So remember when they won their last 2 games, and I said it's a big deal. And I know we differed. You said it's certainly better than losing, but I really believe always winning that last game just carries a bunch of momentum into the offseason. You see a little bit what I'm talking about? I mean, will you give me a little on that?
It depends on where you are, because if this was
I'm talking about
Danny Gonzalez, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm talking about this. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about Bob Davie in his 8th year winning his last game and pulling momentum. I mean, no, I'm talking about this scenario. That pull a little momentum in, winning those last 2 games?
It did.
Yeah. It just sets the tone. Danny Gonzalez is going to be with us when we come back, the head football coach at UNM. It was a good spring day.
20.
Felt like early summer. We'll talk to him next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Plan your adventure at WNMU.edu.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Ashley Duran in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Wide open, Jaden Phillips. Oh, he shattered him like dirty laundry into a hamper.
That was a Derrick Henry style stiff arm.
Motion was call.
Well, it was idyllic out there on Saturday. I don't know what much more it could have been for a Lobo football program that is rebuilding and earning fans back to get out there on a absolutely gorgeous Saturday afternoon in the spring. And time around here, you could get rain, snow, wind, or beautiful sunshine. And the sun shone certainly on the Lobo football program. It's the opening drive, Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. And they had between 4,000 and 5,000 fans go through during the day. The parking lot was full, and more so, J.J. and I were just talking about it, the hope and the progress that the program has made in regards to interest and then the product on the field. The head football coach is Danny Gonzalez, going into his second year. Danny joins us this morning. I hope you had a good Easter weekend. Danny, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on. No, he is risen, so it was a great Easter Sunday and followed by a great Saturday atmosphere. We didn't get anybody seriously hurt in the scrimmage. A few bumps and bruises, which I actually hope for because it means we're running into each other. So it was a great day. It was a great day for Lobo football.
I asked you this after the game, and I'm going to ask you a little bit for our audience here. just the atmosphere before we X and O this thing. What it meant. I've called it progress. Rudy just called it hope. You know it's going to be brick by brick, and you and I talked about it afterwards. But as you continue to lay the bricks, you start to see a foundation. You start to see it build a little bit. From a year ago, and take COVID out of it, as far as where the program is, the interest is. You came here and you had a vision. Is that vision starting to take shape? Is this kind of how you saw it happening?
It is. I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and that's in all aspects of it. I mean, building the fan base back up. There's been some couple things on Twitter. That Lobo football history site, and they talked about 9 of the 10 top crowds in UNM history were under Coach Long's tenure. I was a part of all of those, and I saw a comment on there about 2016. Why didn't we fill up the stadium? And I try and tell our guys all the time, and I said this from the beginning. If our guys are a part of the community and our guys are doing things right, and obviously you win, it's twofold. You've got to be hand in hand, and our community will get totally behind this football program as long as we've got good guys. And you have to have some that are from New Mexico so that there's some interest there. But we can build this back up to 40,000 people in the stadium and competing for conference championships. And we made a huge step. I mean, 5,000 people for a spring game, close to 5,000 people is huge. We've got them excited. Now we have to do our part to continue to get better as a football team, and then we'll start filling this place up.
And Danny, to that point, when it comes to the players, and you saw their reaction this week, and a lot of them, I think, were just shocked, like, wow, this can actually happen. You can have that progress. But how do they have that buy-in? You talk about being members of the community, when they're allowed to. What type of things do you do to instill that in the players, and obviously want to see from them moving forward?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, we have to be a part of the youth. We had a pretty good start to it right before COVID. I think it's very important for our guys to be involved with elementary kids, go out to the elementary schools, be a part of reading programs, be a part of the NFL Play 60 where we're doing PE classes, we're doing recess with them. Because I'm a firm believer that if you start those kids out being Lobo fans from 7 and 8 years old, when they're adults, they're going to make their kids Lobo fans. They're going to be involved. So we're going to be out and about everywhere. I mean, I have a goal that we reach every single elementary school in the city of Albuquerque to be a part of their reading program, to be a part of their PE program. Because when I was a little kid, I thought the Lobos, both basketball and football players, they were my heroes. They were superstars. So I think we can make a big impression and show those kids how important it is to be involved. And then one day it's going to be them doing the same thing back for our elementary school kids. It just makes the community bond that much better.
Lobo football coach Danny Gonzalez with us. Another part of the community is your alumni. It's your community. And I saw a lot of alumni out there. Just got a text from an alum who said, a lot of us his word, boycotted the program because we didn't feel comfortable. I know that's been something because you are an alum is a big part of it, but I saw a lot of alum from different generations now, from the 2000s, from the 80s. There were a lot of people out at a spring game, and I got to believe that's a big part of what you're trying to do too when you talk about community and bringing everybody back in.
Oh, huge. I talk about it all the time. It's our football team. It doesn't belong to me. It's the past, the present, and the future Lobos, and it belongs to our community. But I probably talked to 20 guys that I coached in my first tenure here that were in my actual position group. They had T-shirts made with slogans that we used from the past that we've brought back. Guys that came before me. Guys that played for Coach Long. A bunch of Coach Long's teammates were actually out here on Saturday. So we're getting them back in the fold slowly but surely. We've got a group chat with about 180 former Lobo football players from all different eras that have been going back and forth talking about coming and planning events. Guys that don't live here in Albuquerque are going to come back for games. There was a lot of excitement on there about the helmets. Guys from my area where the defenses were in the old Lobo helmet, I mean, they were excited about that. There's a lot of investment from those guys, and I want them to be around. I mean, they're allowed to come and sit in meetings. They're allowed to come to practice. Nothing's ever closed to our former alumni unless they coach somewhere else. because I think that's a huge part of building success in your program. And they can teach the guys that are in the program right now what they went through so that those guys that are here now, they understand why they have the things that they have, and then we can make it better for the future Lobos.
Well, Danny, when you look at Saturday kind of being the exclamation point for this spring, how do you feel it all played out? How do you feel your team did with spring practice and then what they were able to accomplish on Saturday?
We definitely got better as a football team. I was very disappointed in the performance of our wide receivers. We dropped way too many balls. We dropped a sure touchdown against the first defense, which we had Tavian Combs, our Lobo, was out with a little nicked up shoulder. He missed 2 plays, and one of them was almost a touchdown. And so our top 5 DBs, I think they're pretty good. There's a significant drop-off to the next level. I thought we were pretty physical up front on defense. I thought the second offensive line was really physical. They ran the ball. I mean, they had the 2 70-yard touchdown runs, which in the 2 coverages we were playing on defense should never happen. So either the running backs made a really great play or the secondary and the guys up front on defense made a terrible play. So putting the head football coach cap on, I mean, I saw positives from both sides of the ball. Now I'm a defensive guy by nature, and so when I see those big plays, it irritates me. And so I'm getting over that, so I can walk over to Coach Werheimen and tell those guys, great job, nice blocking up front. I mean, it should have been stopped, but nice blocking up front. And we're going to continue to have that. I thought the offense got better this spring. When Terry Wilson gets here in the summer, we'll open up that competition, and I'm excited about the prospect of our team being a very competitive football team. And when you play teams that are better than you, which we will play some teams that are better than us, especially in our league, if you let a team stick around and be competitive, then it becomes who makes the most plays in the fourth quarter. And we're on that learning point to learn how to win. So I think we could have a very competitive football team next year.
I always wonder about this coming out of these spring games. If your offense looks good, then you got to be upset at the defense. As a head coach, how do you evaluate it? Because you draw it up on one side of a whiteboard, and it's supposed to work, but you draw it up on the other side, and yours is supposed to work. So they can't both work, Danny. How do you view it as a head coach? Yeah.
I sat Saturday evening during the Gonzaga-UCLA game, going through my mind on the tape of, okay, well, this works. Why didn't this work? And spending more time, obviously, because I've been for 20-plus years, I haven't cared what the offense did 1 second. I mean, when those guys caught the ball on offense, it used to piss me off. So now I have to dissect it from both sides so that when we get in a staff meeting, I'm not as biased. And I've had to learn this, too, over my year and a half of being here as a head football coach. I represent all of them. And when the offensive guys see me spend too much time with the defense, there's some animosity there that we don't need. And so, and Herm actually talked to me about that before I took this job. And I think Coach Long did a great job for 20 years because he's been nothing but a defensive guy. But he spent enough time around the offensive kids. And so I spent a lot more time in offensive meetings than I would have thought going in. And like I said from the very beginning, once the kids figure out that they can trust you and you're all in, they'll be in with you. And I know I have that from our football team. So we've got a chance to do something pretty special around here. But it's been more of a challenge because of what my path is, but I'm really enjoying it.
Well, I mean, you knew there was going to be a learning curve, and that's part of the learning curve. Do you have a few more minutes? We got to take this break. I'd love to get into some individual stuff and some kind of what did you get out of it as far as a football team, if you got another segment in you.
Absolutely.
All right, Danny Gonzalez. Thank you, Danny. He's the head football coach at the University of New Mexico. He's with us, and he's going to stay with us for another segment. We'll talk about, he mentioned Terry Wilson, the quarterback, who was with us. What does that mean? We'll get into the Isaiah Chavez injury, the running backs, and what stood out defensively. We'll talk global football with the head coach, Danny Gonzalez, when we continue on the opening drive on ProView Networks at 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Lane, it looks like Winikoff's wide open over here, but he's threatened on the play. That was Jaden Brown, and he's going to have to just chuck this one up, and that's a touchdown! Wow! I can't believe he was in position for that play.
So
looking good. They'll want to avoid Webskowski in the kick, but it gets to the 10. Or I beg your pardon. Now across the 50. That's going to be an opening house call. He's going all the way, and he's going to go untouched. 90 yards for Lujan, and that is a nightmare start for Clovis.
That young.
Nice serve by Moore. Wow. Outstanding work. The middle blocker, Haley Areola.
Gomez again, the motion man. This one instead handed off. And right through the gut, there's a bunch of space. Nice little hop there. Atrisco fans are on their feet, and for good reason, as that's a 41-yard touchdown. Jaden Cowley.
And 11 for the Tigers. Sherman will roll to his right. Throws on the down and out. Caught. Trying to go for the goal line. Leads it in. Touchdown. What a play.
Jaguars, the snap handed off to Cowley. The big man sweeps the side one, cutting back inside. He turns around the other direction. He's heading this way, and he's got to just beat one more, and he does. Touchdown.
A ball. Burrell on the serve. There's a dig. Boom, the kill shot. Number 6. I tell you what, man, Morgan Torres on the kill shot. 7 seconds left. People are stunned. There's just so much scoring on this game. Will the Hawks be able to respond with the big play? There's a fake on the right side. He's got an open field. Oh my gosh, and just like that, holy cow, amazing. Just like that, the Hawks score. Number 2, Caden Valdez on the right side.
Remember on the punter. He'll pop this up. The man to receive it is also wearing number 3, Isaiah Garcia. He does catch it off the hop. Nice move by him. He's got some room out there on the right-hand side. He's got to get around his opposite number. He does. Gets one block in. He gets around the last guy. Can he get in? And there's the first points for the Monzano Monarchs. Isaiah Garcia all the way here from his own 45.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
All right, big spring game, the Cherry Silver game, and it was a huge success. Head coach Danny Gonzalez stays with us, and appreciate you staying with us for another segment. You mentioned Terry Wilson, the quarterback, and so when he comes in, how did you evaluate the quarterback play with Isaiah out with the elbow injury, and what does it look like when he shows up on campus? Is he where do you put him on the depth chart?
When I thought Trey played pretty well for the most part. He put the ball in the receiver's hands numerous times where they didn't complete the catch, so obviously we need to improve there. And then I thought he did a good job of getting now he took the majority of the reps, so he got him in and out of good plays and bad plays the majority of the day. I thought the defense on the number 1 defense for the Cherry team was significantly more physical than the offense up front. But once Terry gets here, the depth chart won't be decided because we can do different things during summer. Now summer is not a voluntary period anymore. We actually can mandate that they have 10 hours of a week of different things. So he'll get to throw 7-on-7 with those guys when the coaches aren't out there. We'll get to do some walkthrough things and really see how enveloped he is into the offense. There's no chance for him to be with the first offense on the first day, but as we compete, he'll get an opportunity to see where he is and then we'll have 3 or 4 scrimmages during fall camp. After the first scrimmage, we'll evaluate and see exactly who the best quarterback is and who's the most productive one, and then we'll go from there. Isaiah, I really have no idea what's wrong with his elbow. We'll know this week. It could be anywhere from torn ligament where it requires Tommy John surgery, or hopefully on the other side of it, some kind of tendonitis where he just has some strained ligaments in there, and we'll rehab it. So that has me nervous and really sick to my stomach because of the unknown. Because of COVID, we're a little bit backed up with MRIs. We go through the normal process as opposed to back before we were able to get him in a lot quicker. So we'll find out this week, and then we'll evaluate from that point on the direction of our quarterback room.
That's a big deal. Yeah, we haven't talked to you. We talked to Terry last week when it was announced that he signed. Just the recruiting process on him, and I know the Werheim connection was a big deal. But you still, at some point, had to sell a young man who's coming from the SEC and who's won 2 bowl games and was a quarterback on a 10-win team, and the only quarterback in the history of that program to beat Florida and Tennessee in the same season. That you're going to come to New Mexico. We've won 2 games each of the last 3 seasons, but we're selling you on the positives. Obviously, that couldn't have been easy, but how was that whole process? Because I'm sure you had to sell that young man because there probably wasn't a big knowledge of what's going on here.
Absolutely. And the football side of it, it started when he first entered the portal. Coach Sulkin was still our quarterback. So obviously he's a big part of it because I'm a firm believer that those guys really need to get to know their position coaches because that's who they're going to spend 90% of their time with. So there was a transition there between him and Coach Maringer. Coach Werheim, obviously, with the initiation of the relationship, played a big, big role. And then when I talk to those guys, and a lot of times the guys on our football team, when they come into my office, I don't want it to be about football. It needs to be about life in general, things that I can help them about, because most of the time when they come in here for football, it's because they've done something wrong. And I don't want to be the room that nobody wants to come into because all they're going to do is get in trouble. And so my relationship with Terry has been really big on, okay, this is who I am. This is what the atmosphere is going to be around here. This is what you can depend on for me while your time is here. And these are what are going to be our prospects for when you're done from here. This is where you're going to go. This is life after football. And building that relationship. And then with Loisa, his mom, I think there's a big proponent of they have to feel comfortable with where they're sending their young men. Now, it's different for Terry because he's older. He's 23 years old. He's more of an adult than when we get these 17 and 18-year-olds. Because those 17 and 18-year-olds, they need to feel comfortable with where they're sending their son. Who are the people that are going to be around their son? Are they good examples? And I preach all the time, we're good fathers, we're good husbands, we're good men, we're good teachers, and those are the people that your kids are going to be around. So building that relationship with Terry has been my big thing so that he knows that he's coming over here with somebody that has his best interest in heart. And then, obviously, he felt comfortable enough that this is where he wanted to be. It comes down to having an opportunity to play football. In his mind, he thinks he's the one that's going to come in here and start. You always have to be willing to bet on yourself, so those are the kind of kids we're looking for.
Now, Danny, and to that point on someone like Terry Wilson who comes in with a ton of experience, older, and it is a completely different than a freshman coming in versus a graduate senior at this point in time. So what is that dynamic like? Obviously, as a head coach, you have to set the tone. Hey, this is the pillars in our program. This is what you have to do. But when you have just so many different attitudes, guys just at different phases in their life, how is it dealing with freshmen to seniors?
The thing about our program is no matter what it is, it's team first. And if Terry Wilson was coming in here and not worried about all he wants to do is put up numbers so that he can go on the NFL, if I would have got that feeling at any point, he wouldn't be on our football team. Football is the one game that is the ultimate team sport. You can have one guy, like an example of Terry Wilson, change your program and give you chances, but if those guys up front don't block and those guys outside on, like you saw on Saturday, don't catch the ball, it doesn't matter how good Terry Wilson is. Now, Terry is a 2-time captain, so when you're bringing something like that at Kentucky, so when you're bringing someone like that into your program, he obviously has some kind of an alpha feel to him. And then the freshmen, I think you can eliminate a lot of this through recruiting. This has been the hardest part of the COVID recruiting, only doing it through computer. We haven't had a chance to get them around our guys to see what their true character and their true personality is. But once we get back into recruiting where we can actually bring them in on official visits and we can show them around and we can have them hang out with our players, you can eliminate the guys that won't mesh in your culture. And it's usually your football team coming to you and saying, hey, coach, that guy, he's not one of us. We need to move on. And when kids come and tell me that, I don't care how good the young man is at football, we're moving on. Because one bad apple can ruin your entire culture. And it's their football team. So they have to take ownership. And when we get to that point, you can really eliminate a lot of those problems.
Head football coach Danny Gonzalez with us just a couple more minutes. And to that point, Danny, we had someone just call in and raise the question, how do you evaluate kids this year, especially local talent with the limited schedule? But also, on the flip side, how awesome was it for you to look out your window and see some live high school football last week?
You know, I mean, that was really cool. I mean, technically we weren't allowed to sit there and watch, so we were staying away from the windows as much as we could. But seeing those kids run around was awesome. And seeing it at our stadium, there were some pretty good crowds, even for the 2 o'clock games. I mean, Eunice and Texaco, when they played on Friday afternoon, they had a nice turnout. Farmington, Mayfield, now we were gone because that was in the evening game, but I've had numerous people tell me what an amazing atmosphere that was. That's some really, really cool stuff. Right now, we are evaluating kids off of their coaches. The character checks are off of coaches and counselors and the people that are around them, and then their ability is all off of tape. I think you can make anybody look good in a highlight tape, so we've spent numerous hours of watching high school game tape to make sure that the kids we're recruiting really can. You want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so we've done a lot of watching actual game tape of high school kids. We didn't get the chance to watch the fall footage from New Mexico and California because they did not play fall football. With ProView Networks, you can watch the games live if you buy a subscription with our recruiting services. As soon as those high school tapes are done, games are done, we get the footage. So we've been, obviously we're in a recruiting evaluation period right now. We've been doing a lot of that. And so trying to not make mistakes off of tape. Now, you don't get to see them in person. You have to rely on, and it's funny, coaches now, they use tape measures. They'll send pictures. I mean, sending pics is super easy, so we'll get an accurate weight with them on the scale, an accurate height with them standing next to a tape measure. So we've tried to eliminate as many mistakes as we can, but until they get here and we can actually touch them, we're not 100% positive.
Do you you get a tape? Nobody's ever dropped a ball on their highlight tape. Nobody's ever missed a tackle on their highlight tape. They're really, really, really good. So do you go back and look at archives of full games when a guy catches your eye and you see he's on your radar? How much do you go back and look, especially in this time where you can't see a game in person? Because, man, anything like if it's recorded for us, I never miss. You know what I mean? And so the tapes are good. How do you find the reality?
Hours and hours among hours of watching game tape. I mean, like I said, we want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want to see their effort level. We want to see how hard they play. We want to see how they perform when the game's on the line. With situational football, a big fourth down at the end of the game. What's their response? Are they involved? Are they trying to be involved? Are they shying away from big moments and big opportunities? And it takes a lot of time to go through those and make sure that you don't miss. And it's been extremely more important right now because we don't get to go see live football games. We don't get to go see them and see their personalities and see their atmosphere. Because obviously they start it when the tape when the play starts, and they finish it when the play ends. So you don't get to see if a kid's trying to be boisterous, if he's trying to drag all the attention to him. Those are the things that you miss from seeing a live football game. So it's hours amongst hours of watching game tape. Now, I absolutely love watching high school kids play. I love watching high school game tapes. So it's not monotonous hours, but it is very time-consuming to make sure you don't miss.
All right, lastly, will Teton get drafted? Draft's coming up here in about 3 weeks, and I know he was at the game the other day. Everybody around here is rooting for one of the best guys we've had come through this program in a long time. Will you think he gets drafted?
He'll have a chance. And me and Teton had this conversation. Teton did very well for himself on his pro day. That big of a man running a sub 5-second 40-yard dash is unbelievable, especially at that position. The first 4 games of the season, Teton did not play very well. He struggled. Part of that was, just like the rest of our football team, that was kind of essentially fall camp. The last 3 games, Teton played unbelievable and really gave himself an opportunity to get drafted. We went back and forth with the conversation of whether or not Teton could come back or should come back. If he would have came back and played like he did the last 3 games the entire year, there's no doubt he would be anywhere from the 3rd to 4th round. He has enough tape on there, and they've seen him even previous to this year, that if they're smart, they'll draft him in the 5th or so round. Now, to be honest, if he gets to the 5th round and Teton hasn't been drafted yet, he would be better off if he doesn't get drafted in the 6th or 7th round, and his agent does a really good job of identifying football teams that have interest in O-linemen, that there's some veterans in there that Teton is as good or better than, and he can pick his situation. So if Teton doesn't get drafted in the first 5 rounds, I'm pulling him to be an undrafted free agent where he gets to pick his spot, and he'll make the football team, because you can't teach 6'5", you can't teach 320 pounds, and you definitely can't teach 6'5", 320 sub 5-second 40-yard dash. And so I think he's setting himself up. He'll make it in that league because he's a good enough athlete and he's big and strong.
I think everybody's rooting for him. Hey, appreciate the time, and always it's great conversation. We'll do it again, I know, soon. You guys now go into a different mode with the football program, and we'll get into that. But congratulations on what I thought was a spectacular Saturday afternoon out there to culminate spring practice, and we'll catch up with you very, very shortly.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me on. Thank you for coming out and supporting this Saturday. Lobo Nation, everybody out there listening, mark your calendars for May 4th. Tuesday, May 4th at 6 p.m. in our stadium. We're having what's called Night of Champions. It's the lifting competition within our football team, and we want as many people out there, obviously safe, socially distanced, to come out and watch. Thanks for having me on, guys. Go Lobos.
JJ, Danny, I don't know, do you remember the Night of Champions? Do you remember what it used to be? Do you know what it is?
I'm going to find out May 4th.
So, Danny, this used to be one of the highlights. People used to say it's a big weight. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you explained it better than I do.
Okay. It's a fun night of lifting. We'll have 3 guys from our big linemen, our big skill, which is tight ends, linebackers, and running backs, and then our skill guys, our wide receivers, DBs, quarterbacks. The top 3 will have a lifting competition to lift as much weight as they possibly can in the power clean, the squat, and the bench. And we do it outside in our stadium. We'll have those platforms, those racks, and those bench presses out there. And all of the atmosphere helps those kids actually lift more than they probably should that night because of the adrenaline they get from people cheering them on. It's a great event. We used to do it around here when Coach Long was head coach, and actually Coach Francione is the one that started it. And we're going to get that tradition back and have the Beefmaster. We give them a power index, all that weight combined by their body weight to give us the strongest person pound per pound on our team. They get a little trophy, and it is a fun night, and I'm looking forward to it. We weren't able to do it last year because of COVID, so May 4th, put it on your calendars. It's a great evening.
Yeah, enjoy that. I'm glad that's back. All right, Danny, talk to you soon. Be well.
Thanks, guys. Go Lobos.
See you. I love that those things are coming back. And that was one of those nights where you get a huge crowd, and it was great, and there was nothing like it. All right, we'll respond to what Danny had to say when we get back. I want to give you a few truths as you start your first full week in April. Fellas, as you age, things like fatigue and low T, even hair loss are natural. Good chance that it's going to happen to you, but there's something you can do to battle nature. It's new mail. If you're experiencing those things, you're regularly tired, maybe carrying a few extra pounds, or dealing with erectile dysfunction, I suggest you call New Male. They lead the way in helping men deal with those issues they have for years. Testosterone replacement that is leading the way, cutting edge, and men all over the country benefit from it and feel better. Call 505-652-1688 or visit Newmail, NUMALE.com. Fellas, New Mail is convenient. They're here in Albuquerque, and the process is comfortable. From your phone call through the treatment, And the results are absolutely real. Don't put it off. Take care of you. Visit newmail.com or visit 505-652-1688 and feel better.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog! Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Car Crafters is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
A rogue virus. No jobs. Sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Hayes. I'm with the New Mexico Army National Guard, and I'm from Tucson, Arizona.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Greg Martinez. I'm with the New Mexico Army National Guard, and I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Hi, I'm Marilena Fernandez. I'm with the New Mexico Army National Guard, and I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
The New Mexico Army National Guard is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school athletics.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Art Sandoval in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
All right, so thanks to Danny for spending a couple of segments with us, and there's just, I don't know, winning helps you, doing things differently, and I'm not gonna. This is not against anybody, but when the alumni are telling you in big numbers that they feel better about this program, that's when I start to say, okay, I'm listening, right? I know what I saw on the field. I know what I know Danny a little bit. I know Rocky a little bit. I know the tradition, but JJ, around that stadium, all the alumni, and it's not just around the stadium. It's been texts and calls and personal contact. It tells you a lot when the guys who poured so much blood and sweat into this program over the years are saying, yeah, I'm coming back now.
Yeah, and that's something that every program should have regardless of the product on the field, is you have to have that connection to your alumni base, especially the players that, as Dan likes to say, the past, present, and the future. The student athletes that make it what it is. You need that connection. And yeah, everyone from fans to alumni is going to get frustrated with team playing a certain way, but you're going to have a different emotional attachment. Like as an alumni, 99.9% of the time, you're always going to be riding with your school regardless, but relationships come into play. And obviously, something has been off the last few years, so you bring in Danny Gonzalez to reignite all those relationships, and you got a lot more people, riding this wave in the next season.
And I love that they're bringing back some of the, a spring game. It seems so simple. Hadn't had one in damn near a decade. Just what do you mean you haven't had it? Everybody's got a cherry silver game or a crimson gray game or a whatever. No. The Night of Champions, JT, was a big deal. And it was here before I was here, and I've been here 25 years. Dennis Franchione started it. And it was the culmination of the spring conditioning program, big weightlifting competition, and big fanfare, and it meant a lot. This is where a lot of school records were broken in regards to weightlifting and who lifted the most and how many, and it was just a fun tradition that Rocky Long continued when he was here. Look, everybody, whenever I'm not gonna bash a coach for doing it their way. Every coach who's going to come in here, past and future, comes from some sort of a winning tradition, and wherever they were, it worked the way they did it. Right? That's how they got moved up the ladder to get this job. But sometimes you don't have to clean house and change everything. The Night of Champions was just, and the old school guys will tell you, and I'd love to hear some of the alum who took part in this. It was just one of those things where, to Danny's point, the adrenaline, the fun, everybody, their teammates cheering them on and screaming, and I mean, it sounds like a bunch of meatheads lifting weight, and maybe it is in some respects.
Yeah, you need that. It's a moment that, all right, yeah, this is the element of this sport, or it's as gosh darn it, why am I blanking? Former Boston called Steve Adazio, the dudes being dudes, guys being guys. Yeah. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, and so to that, I'm glad all that's coming back. I thought I was really interested to talk to him about how did you have the conversation with Terry Wilson. I understand the Wareheim piece and how you got introduced, but to sit down and convince that young man who's coming from the SEC where he just won 2 bowl games that this is where you want to spend your super senior year, that to come to New Mexico, come to a place where we've won 2 games last year, 2 games the year before, 2 games the year before, but there's great things and you got an opportunity. And he said more so, what I heard, he had to sell me. If he was all about numbers and putting up numbers and just getting to the end, he wouldn't be here. And when he sits in my office, I want it to be about life. I don't want it to be about football. I want to learn about the young man. It seems so simple. Yeah, that's how it should be, but I don't know that it is that way all the time. And obviously, whatever Danny said and showed, without even the young man stepping foot on campus, that's a hell of a recruiting job, because you're telling me I won 10 games in the SEC last year. I won a bowl game again, 2nd year in a row. I'm the only guy at Kentucky to ever beat Florida and Tennessee in the same season. I got 1 season left. I'm going to New Mexico. I'm sure there were a lot of eyebrows raised.
And it's one, too, that listening to Terry Wilson, you can understand why that works. If you heard our conversation with him last week, which it's by the way, it's posted, it's on our social media pages. If you missed it, want to listen back to it, he's a very well composed young man, confident in his skills, but also his leadership ability, the understanding of all those qualities that Danny Gonzalez touched on. And this is a big move. There's a lot of people in that transfer portal. And so, yes, you're going to a 2-win team, but Terry, he told us, he says, I'm going to go in there and compete. There's probably an element of him looking at this and going, of all the places, I'm going to be the starting quarterback here. Like, if I'm good enough, there's no reason these other guys should beat me out. But then you add in everything else, and it makes what sounds like is going to be a very good relationship next year.
No, I agree with that. And one of my themes, and not just on the show, I firmly believe that we evolve and we mature, we grow up. He's 23 years old. He's a father. I mean, you get it. I get it. Anybody who's had a kid, nothing will grow you up quicker than being a daddy, right? Nothing will grow you up quicker than holding that child and going, okay, I'm now responsible for this little being, right? And your mindset changes, your priorities change, the way you see things. And Danny just said, he's an alpha, but he's a leader. He's going to have to earn that respect. And we talked to him about that. I know I asked him that. You're going to walk into a room where you're going to kind of be the old man, right? But how do you do that? And so it's going to be interesting. But I thought there was a lot in that. 9:15, we're going to Spokane. Dennis Passion, the sports director of KHQ Television in Spokane, 36-year veteran, and a guy you can blame for me being in this market. I'll explain that to you. He's going to be with us. We'll talk Gonzaga. That's coming up, 246-0610 if you want to get in. Hey, Dr. Stephen Coleman specializes in treating astigmatism, and he does that with LASIK. Been doing it since 1968. I had a high degree of astigmatism, and that's one of the main reasons I went to see Dr. Coleman back in 2003, and I had the LASIK surgery. I didn't know I had astigmatism. I just knew I was having problems. That's what I was diagnosed with. Look, the technology he uses is cutting edge. He plays a significant role in developing and testing the current technology that he uses, and it's used not only here in New Mexico but around the world. Technology originated at Sandia Labs, and for years, patients have come from all over the country to have their LASIK done at Coleman Vision by Dr. Coleman because people know his reputation, the fact that he's been in private practice specializing in LASIK his entire career. It changed my life. Not a lot of things change your life. This changed my life. I was tired of wearing lenses and contacts and dealing with everything. I couldn't see. I've been wearing lenses since I was in high school. Went in the afternoon, 1 o'clock, had the surgery, anchored the news the next morning at 5 o'clock, and haven't worn lenses since. Dr. Coleman is the best. They are family. When it comes to your eyes, don't settle for anything but the best. Go to their website, take a look at what's going on there, and you're going to understand why. And this is for, there's no certain person. This is athletes and housewives and lawyers.
Next in line.
Everybody. And they'll tell you if you're not a candidate. But if you think you're a candidate,
Rudy's
call Dr.
is a
Coleman.
proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Call 505-821-8880. That's 505-821-8880. Seeing is believing. Dr. Coleman certainly has me believing.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Meet Greg Shamus. He's a State Farm agent, which means he's here to help with all this. But it's easier to just remember he's here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Greg Shamus at 505-898-3648 today.
At New Mexico Highlands University, you're more than a student, you're family. Whether you're taking courses in Las Vegas, Santa Fe, Rio Rancho, Albuquerque, or Farmington, you'll get that one-on-one attention to inspire you to reach your goals. Let New Mexico Highlands help take your passion and accelerate it into a career and fulfilling life path. Find out why New Mexico Highlands is the right choice for you. Log on to NewMexicoHighlands.com today.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Plan your adventure at WNMU.edu.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Ashley Duran in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Wide open, Jaden Phillips. Oh, he shattered him like dirty laundry into a hamper.
That was a Derrick Henry style stiff arm.
Motion, there's Winnikoff. Lane, it looks like Winnikoff's wide open over here, but he's threatened on the play. That was Jaden Brown, and he's going to have to just chuck this one up, and that's a touchdown! Wow! I can't believe he was in position for that play.
So, things are looking good. They'll want to avoid Webskowski in the kick, but it gets to the 10. Or I beg your pardon. Now across the 50. That's going to be an opening house call. He's going all the way, and he's going to go untouched. 90 yards for Lujan, and that is a nightmare start for Clovis.
That young...
Nice serve by Moore. Wow. Outstanding work. A middle blocker.
I've had so many alumni tell me how they didn't feel welcome previously and they feel welcome now with Danny. I think that's a big deal in regards to what's going on with Lobo football. And look, the community is going to be the community, but it's also going to be their own community, their football community, the people who built this. And Danny being part of it, an unrecruited, walk-on, local, with two other coaches on that staff who were here when things were rolling pretty well. It's going to be that way, and I think you're gonna sense it. Look, they're not going to. Well, maybe they will. Who knows? It's going to take time, and I think JJ, you're seeing the bricks being laid. or lane might be the right word, but brick by brick, right? Game by game, practice by practice, transfer by transfer, spring game by spring game, night of champions by night of champions, season ticket by season ticket that's being purchased. That's how you get to where you want to be. And then at some point, they're going to have to perform on the field.
Yeah, you do all you can at this moment in time to capitalize on the energy, the excitement, the hope for the future, and then it comes through. Ultimately, after it's all said and done, what does that scoreboard say? That will be the deciding factor.
I used to tell you this the first couple years of the bowl game. When I was going around, I would get to 3 or 4 games, Mountain West games a year. And I would go on the field and I would talk to coaches. And I used to tell you, whether it was Kyle Winningham, whether it was Joe Glenn, Gary Patterson, and I would talk to them all on the field before the game. This was 06, 07. And they said, man, they would always ask me about New Mexico because they knew I did radio here. They knew I was following. He says, God, they're just not the most talented, but they're the toughest damn team we play every year. And that was a theme, right? That was a theme. They weren't the most talented, but they were as tough. They were going to let you know they were there. And that's one of the things that this coaching staff's trying to get back to. And you kind of we'll see. But I think that's how they beat Wyoming and Fresno State. I don't think they out-talented either one of those teams. And it feels like the road to success is going to be going back that way.
Absolutely. It's heard it from the beginning from Danny Gonzalez. Effort, give yourself a chance late in the football game. And if you're close enough, then you're going to put yourself in position to make plays to win a football game. That's what they did to end the season. And they looked pretty good at it at times. And I haven't been this excited for a Lobo offense in a while. I think Derek Wareheim is an unbelievable offensive mind. I think he has a very bright future as a coach at the collegiate level, potentially even a head coach. But to see what he's done with just the quarterbacks in a shortened season last year, now all of a sudden you give him Terry Wilson to work with, things look pretty good.
Mike, we got about a minute before we have to hit this hard break. Good morning, Mike.
Yes, hi, good morning. I agree with you, folks. I know I myself have hope now for Lobo football. So myself dropped season tickets since the disaster locks came into town. Actually, 2 years after that, I gave him some chance. But anyway, so I was looking forward to actually returning back last year with COVID, of course, doing its thing. But especially with Rocky Long being on staff, honestly, because I think we owe the guy. So I wanted to be back there in the stadium and support him.
That's terrific, Mike. No, I appreciate the call. And I think that's indicative of a lot of Lobo fan right there. I've wanted it. I wanted a chance. I've given other guys a chance. I'm going to give this guy a chance. This feels different. Give it a chance. I asked you last year, how patient you're going to be. You saw it, and all we wanted, I said to you, you want to see progress. You saw it. I think that's where a lot of people are. They got something to be excited about. We'll talk hoops in the next hour at 9:15. Dennis Patchen from KHQ in Spokane is going to join us from Indianapolis on the day of the national championship game. It's the opening drive. We're on ProView Networks, where A.A. Ron's producing. Bobcats got us on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
You're clear. Thank you.
Gomez again, the motion man. This one instead handed off. And right through the gut, there's a bunch of space. Nice little hop there. Etrusco fans are on their feet, and for good reason, as that's a 41-yard touchdown. Jaden Cowley.
And 11 for the Tigers. Sherman will roll to his right. Throws on the down and out. Caught. Trying to go for the goal line. Leads it in. Touchdown. What a play.
Jaguars, the snap handed off to Cowley. The big man sweeps aside one. Cutting back inside. He turns around the other direction. He's heading this way. And he's got to just beat one more. And he does. Touchdown.
In the serve. There's the dig. Boom, the kill shot. Number 6. I tell you what, man, Morgan Torres on the kill shot. 7 seconds left. People are stunned. There's just so much scoring on this game. Will the Hawks be able to respond with a big play? There's a fake on the right side. He's got an open field. Oh my gosh, and just like that, holy cow, amazing. Just like that, the Hawks score. Number 2, Caden Valdez on the right side.
Remember on the punter. We'll pop this up. The man to receive it is also wearing number 3, Isaiah Garcia. He does catch it off the hop. Nice move by him. He's got some room out there on the right-hand side. He's got to get around his opposite number. He does. Gets one block in. He gets around the last guy. Can he get in? And there's the first points for the Manzano Monarchs. Isaiah Garcia all the way here from his own 45.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Car Crafters is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Drive with 2-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and JJ Bach.
Don't sweat. That's a big day on the national landscape, and we'll have it for you here on the Sports Animal. The national championship for men's college basketball. Gonzaga and Baylor tonight after a thrilling victory by Gonzaga. As good a basketball game as I've seen in a long time. I'm wondering where you put it. I was reading an article on how Jalen Suggs will capitalize on that. And it's really interesting, JJ, in the long-term thing and how some of the financial analysts look at it. And then Baylor just dismantling Houston 78-59. Opening drive, Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. JJ, did you catch any of the women's championship last night? Stanford 54. Arizona 53. That Ari McDonald from Arizona is terrific. Now, I thought Stanford would handle them, and they did by a point. Stanford is the first team to ever win both of their games in the Final Four by one single point. They beat UConn, which, by the way, the UConn thing is crazy. All Pac-12 Conference of Champions in the Final Four. It was actually a pretty good watch last night.
The Final Four is fantastic. The women's game is better every single year. The talent is phenomenal. We're talking about freshmen in Caitlin Clark at Iowa that led the country in scoring this year. Paige Becker's National Player of the Year at UConn. Unbelievable players in this game. And what Arizona did to UConn defensively was crazy. How good that Arizona team was defending, and that's what got them there. And then, oh, by the way, Ari McDonald, at that point with the tournament she played, you could say she was the best player in the nation. What she was doing leading the Wildcats offensively. And so to beat UConn and then go toe-to-toe with Stanford. How about Stanford's Final Four game and then the championship game? The last shot came for the opponent, and if it went in, they lose in each contest. Yep. Unbelievable.
South Carolina had two of them, two looks on in the semifinal game, and then they did a great job on McDonald. If you look at the play, I think everybody in the building, everybody who was in front of a television knew it was going to go to Ari McDonald, and I guess it should have. You look over on that right wing, and that young lady is. They triple teamed her up top. As soon as the ball went to her, everything swarmed. I don't know that she could have got a pass off at 5'6". She's a magician, but. Boy, there were a lot of options on that play. I guess, someone else misses a shot. You're sitting here saying, everybody's going, how do you not have Ari McDonald take that shot? She's right. I mean, honestly, if someone else, it's almost the only way to win, is if you make the shot, right? But so Ari, you go down firing your best shot, which that wasn't your best shot. It was a triple team heave that, by the way, damn near went in. But if you design it where you use her as a decoy and someone else misses, the criticism that you've got, and you've got to be able to handle this, right? If you're in that position, because as I was watching, I'm thinking I'm designing that to get it to McDonald, have her drive and kick, because everybody is going to swarm her, and somebody will be wide open. You will get a look. You had 6 seconds. Now the inbound pass took about a second and a half off because she was going backwards, but if you look at it, there's so much space on that floor because everybody swarmed her. I don't know where you are on that. If you got a dominant player like that, is that the person who's going to take your shot, or do you say, man, create something because somebody is going to be wide open?
Well, the best thing would be to have, as you said, an option on it. Is get her going to the basket, and if the opportunity is there, she takes a shot. If not, kick it. But where she caught the basketball, that was a challenging thing. Coming away from the basket, and then the timing of it, as you said, 3 players rushing at her. Once she picked up her dribble, she wasn't going to get a good pass off, and so she was left to have that heave, and that's the challenge. You want to try to get the player going downhill in that situation. So great job by Stanford defensively, forcing the pass, getting her going towards midcourt, and then at the moment that they swarmed her, because it was going to be a tough pass even if she got it out of her hands. And still, she just chucked it up there almost. Would have been a moment that would have been able to dethrone Suggs this weekend.
Seriously. No, seriously. If that goes, that's just good. And it was a heave falling back and a little more on it and it banks in. Like it hit that the back iron, the heel of the iron, a little more on it, and it banks in. But it didn't. Just a good watch. And I don't know. We always say all chalk, and when are they going to win again? When are they going to win again? Connecticut. How about UConn? Now they've been to 13, 14 straight Final Fours, which is stupid. But Arizona knocking them off was a big deal the other day.
It was huge. It was unbelievable, the run Arizona went on. A 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. By the way, future opponent, UNM women's basketball. So that should be a fun home-and-home series, the challenge ahead for playing Arizona. But the story of the head coach as well, Barnes for the Wildcats. She has a 6-month-old baby. She's coaching her team through the NCAA tournament, still doing other things a mom does during that time. It's great.
Did you watch her demeanor? Do you watch how comforting she is? There's a lot of ways to coach, and you got to know your personnel, and you've got to know what you're doing. But just like bad passes, she's like, and the kids look over. As kids, players do, they look at the bench. She's like, don't worry about it. Giving them thumbs up. Just go make the next play. I get it, man. There's a lot of different ways to coach, but obviously the way she does it is good for her. And there's Tara Vanderveer on the other side, who is a legend in that sports and who has been doing it for years. And again, calm demeanor coach. but obviously very strict and does it her way, and has had that program so close for so long. They haven't won a championship in 29 years there because everything's been dominated by, it was Tennessee and UConn forever. Tennessee and UConn. Then South Carolina came in. It was good to see someone like her get a victory, to get one of those. But man alive, what she's done with that program has been terrific. And I was just really intrigued. I haven't watched a lot of them, but watching those two coaches and the way they do it and relate to their players, I don't want to say it was foreign, but it was refreshing. Does that make sense?
It does. It's always an interesting aspect of looking at how coaches handle things, especially in basketball. You know, when you have a much bigger imprint just in that time with your smaller roster and what you're doing, and seeing to the talent and the depth. You know, you look at Tara Vanderveer, who's the winningest coach in the women's college basketball, just an outstanding career. Barnes up and coming now at Arizona, and you're seeing them compared. And here's Barnes, 4 conference tournament wins. Here's Gina Auriemma, here's Tara Vanderveer, 125, 127. Just like wow. But that's the careers that they've had. And what a march, both on the men's and women's side, for West Coast basketball. Stand up east of the Mississippi, making it known that we can do some big things out here.
Yeah, it's a big postseason for Western basketball. That's for certain. All right, 505-246-0610. We are going to get into the championship game tonight. Baylor and Gonzaga on the men's side. We're going to go to Indianapolis where they're playing that game. Dennis Passion from KHQ TV, the sports director up in Spokane, who's been in that market for 36 years and watched Gonzaga since they were a wee little program. He's going to be with us, and he was at the game the other day. I'm looking forward to catching up with Dennis and getting his perspective. So we'll get your report from Indianapolis when we come back on the opening drive.
Let me tell you about F45 training. You're like, what? F45 training? Absolutely. So you can be ready for the biggest moments when your time arises. F45 training is high-intensity circuit training in 45-minute classes. There's new classes throughout the week. Like this week, signed up Friday, it's quarterback. It's agility, resistance, and power-based cardio movements. And then you have classics like Hollywood, your 60-minute workout on a Saturday. Check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app. I am enjoying these classes. This is the boost I needed to restart my fitness, and that's what I love about F45. It is for all fitness levels. Whether you're looking to kickstart your fitness or challenge yourself to get to another level, F45 training is the place for you. They have a 7-day free trial, which you can sign up for on the app. Look at their schedule of classes. They have classes 7 days a week. As you said, new classes every day to keep your mind and body moving forward. Certified trainers are there every class, help you with motivation or modification with some of the workouts. It's a clean environment. You have wipes with you quickly to wipe down your stuff in between sets, so you can just focus on getting everything you need out of your workout. The gym is located 5920 Holly Northeast, so it's really good access, Paseo and I-25, from wherever you're coming from in the city. And like I said, all fitness levels are welcome. You're not going to feel uncomfortable in this environment, and that's what I've really enjoyed about it as well. Good people, good environment, great equipment to get the workout done. So check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
Everything is
virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com TraxonCompaction.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Hayes. I'm with the New Mexico Army National Guard, and I'm from
Media
Tucson,
Albuquerque
Arizona.
is seeking a dynamic
Hi, I'm
digital
Staff
marketing
Sergeant Greg
account executive
Martinez.
to
I'm
join
with
our
the New
winning
Mexico Army
team.
National Guard.
We are
I'm
looking
from
for
Santa Fe, New
passionate,
Mexico.
motivated,
Hi, I'm
goal-oriented
Marina
individuals with a
Fernandez.
desire to
New Mexico
win in
Army
a
National Guard,
fast-paced,
and I'm
highly
from Santa Fe, New
competitive
Mexico.
sales environment.
New
Our
Mexico Army
ideal
National Guard is a
candidate is
proud supporter of
digitally
New Mexico
savvy,
high school athletics.
customer-focused, and has a desire to create integrated marketing campaigns that make a difference for local businesses. Our digital portfolio consists of programmatic OTT video and display, search engine optimization, email marketing, social media advertising, and more. Our digital portfolio is continually expanding to meet.
So I have Dennis on the line.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And world-class tools and resources to help you succeed. Competitive commissions and the chance to realize your full
For
potential
your
as
surprisingly
a
great race,
professional. If this
contact your
sounds
local
like
State
you,
Farm agent
please call
today.
our digital
If
sales
you want the
manager,
real
Anna
deal,
McGrail,
call
at
State Farm agent Art
505-9
Sandoval in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Meet Greg Shamus. He's a State Farm agent, which means he's here to help with all this. But it's easier to just remember he's here to help life go right. Call State Farm agent Greg Shamus at 505-898-3648 today.
Sports Animal.
Gonzaga and Baylor will decide the men's basketball national championship tonight from Indianapolis. You can listen to the game here on the Sports Animal. 7:20 tip time. I know you'll be in front of the TV, but if you got to go do something like, I don't know, pick up your daughter from lacrosse practice and you have to be out for a second, we've got you covered. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. We'll get back to the phones coming up in a little bit. J.J., you can blame our next guest for me being in this market. It was 26 years ago, right about this week or last week. We were at the Kingdome in Seattle when UCLA beat Arkansas, the O'Bannon team, and he shot the story that was on my demo reel that got me the job at KOAT back in 96. So we were at the 95 Final Four. We met a gentleman named Dion Rich, who had claimed to sneak into every Super Bowl that had happened at that point, and he snuck into the Final Four. Dennis Patchen is the sports director at KHQ Television in Spokane. He is the voice of Idaho Vandal football, Seattle University basketball, 36-year veteran and a Inland Northwest Hall of Famer and a good friend. Dennis Patchen joins us from Indianapolis. How you living, TP? You got to see one of the best games ever the other night.
I'm good. You cheated me out of year. It's 37 now. So it was 36 at the old place, and I got a brand new job. So I'm pretty excited about it.
How you liking the new place? I mean, that JJ, it's like you changed careers almost. He had been at KXLY for 36 years and now starting at KHQ. How you liking that?
It's good. Like a lot of people, I was unemployed for 7 months, and I got fortunate that I got a job, and fortunate that I've been in Indianapolis, or unfortunate, I don't know how the case may be, for 20 days now. So, Indy's a great town. I don't recommend anybody spending 20 days here, just in case you're wondering.
Especially if St. Elmo's is closed and you can't even go to what people tell me is like the best steakhouse in America. So.
I'm going to tell you right now, you used to work TV. You know how these trips go.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't sit down for a lot of meals, do you?
No, you do not. No, you do not.
And they want to hit for every show, every morning show, every noon show. We're paying you to be there, be on every show. All right. JJ, Dennis has watched Gonzaga for all these years, from when they were this little upstart program to where they are now. Dennis, it's easy to say this is the best Gonzaga team ever because here they are. They may be one of the best teams ever. But what makes this team so much different? I look at how deep they are at every position, and then there's Jalen Suggs, and not just because he hit that shot. There's an it to him that I've been talking about for a while, and I think the world just kind of figured out the other night.
I agree, and that's the type of guy they've never had at Gonzaga before. He's a different type of guy. Zach Collins, who played 1 year, was a freshman on that 17 team that went to the final championship game, was a different type of guy. And as this whole thing has gone along since they started this run in '99, Mark Few's done a great job of elevating the type of players that he has. And then the other thing he gets the right guys to fit into the system. And you spent some time in Eastern Washington in the early days. You know that there's a zag type of guy, and you've got to fit in. You've got to wait your turn, if you will. You've got to be part of the solution. And when you get done, you have ownership in the program. And those are the type of guys he's been able to get. You may be here 1 year, you may be here 5 years, but those are the type of guys you get. And I mean, we've got probably, I don't know, Jeff, we've probably got 30 former players from the Mark Few era that live in Spokane that have figured out a way to make a living and stay in Spokane. Wow. And that's just because of what that community, what that program has meant to people.
We're finding out a lot more about Gonzaga's staff, too, recently. People diving in, doing stories on, oh, yeah, there's Mark Few, but everyone else. So what has been the key for this consistency for an overall program from Few and what he's done with his assistants especially?
Well, one of the things that Mark has done is he's turned down pretty much everybody who's offered him. The one job I was worried is when the Oregon job opened when they fired Ernie Kent a few years ago before they hired Dana Altman. That's where he's from. He grew up 10 miles away. He's an alum. And I thought, okay, his parents still live there. That might be the one job. When he turned Oregon down, I said he's never going to leave. He's been able to keep his assistants for the most part. Tommy Lloyd is his number one assistant and one of the best recruiters in the country, and is really the European pipeline guy. Has been there a long time. I've known Tommy since he was a player in junior college in Spokane, and he's elevated the position to a point where he's in his contract. He'll be the next Gonzaga coach, but who knows when Mark's going to retire. But he's probably making more than most of the jobs he could get as a head coach, and he's willing to wait his time. He's another one of those guys who's figured out that Spokane is a pretty nice place to raise a family, and he just has his oldest son just graduated high school a year ago, played for Grand Canyon this year, who was in the tournament. So there's those kind of things. Brian Michelson is a former walk-on and a player on his staff who is just a great scout guy, puts the game plans together, those kind of things. So, I mean, the staff is there. Mark has worked for one athletic director. There's a sense of stability at that school in a business that doesn't have a lot of stability.
Is there any concern about the North Carolina job?
No, I don't see Mark leaving now. He'll be 58 soon. I think, I don't know how much longer he goes. He may go 10 more years, but when I was doing the games, I did radio for Gonzaga for his first 2 years. I did them for 4 years. I did Dan Munson's 2 years, and then I did Mark's first 2, and I was part of those first 3 NCAA tournament teams. And we had a long talk one day just about early on or right after I stopped doing the radio was, where do you want to go? What do you want to be? And he was hoping to turn Gonzaga into something at that time where he didn't have to go somewhere else. I mean, North Carolina is awful tempting, and never say never, but I think he's in a place now that he's not going. And, he's got an unbelievable class coming in. They're in on the number one recruit in the country, the kid out of Minnesota, Chet Holmgren. We expect that announcement any day, and everybody who's covering the kid thinks he's going to come to Gonzaga. I mean, he's getting guys that North Carolina gets. I mean, and he's got security, he's got stability. I don't think he goes anywhere. I think he says no to everybody. I mean, Jeff, you know, Mark, the national championship game's on Wednesday. He's going to fly home on Tuesday. He's going to be on a river someplace on Wednesday in the area fly fishing. I mean, that's who he is.
It's good living up there. Dennis Patchen is with us. He's the sports director at KHQ TV in Spokane, a veteran of the Spokane market, and he's in Indianapolis for tonight's. Well, he's been there for 3 weeks and culminating with tonight's game.
Still in it. Still in that bubble. So take us through Saturday night, what it was like, all of us at home on the edge of our seats watching that game. What did it feel like in that moment, and then to see Gonzaga under that pressure respond?
It was pretty amazing. And the thing that when I walked out of the building was that this is the first thought that came into my mind. I'm glad people got to saw it on TV, because the number of people that were in that building, you know, we all got robbed. I can't imagine what it would have been like with 75,000 people in there. A lot of people from the state of Indiana where basketball is a religion, and that shot. And you know, you went from okay, we're going to a second overtime, and let's take a deep breath and get ready, and then all of a sudden, boom, the game's over. It's if you've ever been in a building when you get a game-winning shot, and certainly that one was even more special because of the distance it was, but anytime you get a game-winning shot or a game-winning miss where it looks like somebody's going to win and then all of a sudden they don't, or vice versa, it makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck, and it's something you're going to remember for a long time. And even the people sitting on TV, I mean, I don't know how many social media posts I've seen where people are shooting their family in the living room, and they're all screaming. They're all screaming. Guys who've covered college basketball for 40 years were yelling out groans when that shot hit. It was something special, and the best thing about it is it was good for college basketball, and we got the game that everybody's wanted for not just this year, 2 years, because you can make a case that Baylor and Gonzaga were the two best teams last year.
No doubt. You know, I shy away from recency bias and hyperbole. 2 days out, how good was that game? You've been to Memorial Cups and World Series, and you've been to, you know, Super Bowls, and you've covered all kinds of stuff. That wasn't for the championship. It was in the semifinal. But where does that rank as far as great games of all times?
Of things that I've sat in and the, you know, context, how the game played out, but also the meaning of the game. It's got to be in the top 2 or 3 that I've ever been to. You know, the Super Bowl in Arizona, or not Arizona, with the Seahawks. And I'm going to talk from my perspective of covering sports. The Super Bowl win with the Seahawks, but also the Super Bowl loss in Arizona at the last second that you think the Seahawks are going to win, and boom.
The Malcolm Butler play.
Yeah, the Malcolm Butler interception. The Washington State winning the the Apple Cup, which is Washington State in '97 to go to their first Rose Bowl in 63 years. That kind of sense. The North Carolina-Gonzaga game in 2017 that didn't end Gonzaga's way, but it was a really good basketball game. And considering the context, those are the ones that are in there, Jeff. That you know, that means something.
I'm going to give you one more, Dennis. I think I was there with you. Let me give you one more. Can I give you the Edgar Martinez scoring Ken Griffey from first in the 11th inning to beat the Yankees at the Kingdome in '95?
The one game playoff between the Mariners and the Angels to get them into their first ever playoff.
Randy Johnson, Mark Langston.
Was a monumental thing. I mean, you know, there's other games I'm sure that are bigger nationally, but it's from my perspective of covering it and what it means to the people that I service, that I deliver the sports news to on a nightly basis, or talk about it on a radio show. So those, I can't imagine. You know, today's show after Saturday's win, if I was doing a radio show today, it would have been the easiest show ever. I would have just said, "What'd you think of that shot?" and we'd be done for 3 hours. I mean, just no guests, just take phone calls because everybody's perspective is a little bit different. And you think about it. If the team you cover wins a game, you think about it as a completely different perspective than a team that loses. I can't imagine UCLA thinking they've sent it into another overtime, they still got another chance, and then boom, it's over.
Yeah, we may call John Ireland for tomorrow. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you one thing before we get out of here.
Yeah.
You go nationally, and this shot's everywhere. It's on Good Morning America. There's another team that's playing in this game. Baylor beat the tar out of Houston, and they're getting no love. And they got to be sitting over there just going, all they're doing is talking about those guys and those guys and those guys. There's a pretty damn good team on the other side of this game tonight that nobody's talking about.
Yeah, and Scott Drew's probably got a big smile on his face because he's got that thing. He goes, "Hey guys, nobody wants you to win this game. Nobody thinks you're going to win this game." And obviously, the blowout against Houston, that game was over with 10 minutes into the game. That game was awful, and people want to forget that because we don't remember blowouts. We remember Bird Magic, but we don't remember that game was a blowout. That wasn't close. That wasn't competitive. I think we're going to get a competitive game tonight. I don't know if Gonzaga can beat Baylor. I think Baylor's that good. And if Gonzaga played like they did against UCLA, they're going to get beat. But I think you're going to see a different Gonzaga team, and I think you're going to see it'll be interesting to see how everybody handles it. I don't know if pressure is going to affect these two teams because they played in some pressure games early. Baylor has certainly in their conference, but this is for the national championship, and this is for some guys. This might be their only chance to win.
At New Mexico.
So, I think if you invest 2.5 hours in the game tonight when you flip the TV off, or listen to the radio on your station, you're not going to say, man, that was a complete waste of time.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me throw one more in at you as we wrap this thing up, and I appreciate the time of great events I've been to. I was there with you. We met Dion Rich 26 years ago at the Kingdom when UCLA beat that Nolan Richardson Arkansas team to win a national championship. That was one of my favorite events too that I've ever been to. Was that place? Yeah. That place was nuts too. So we've been fortunate, man. We've had good careers.
Yeah, it's amazing. All the places you and I have gotten to go to see and the things we've gotten to see, and we haven't paid for any of them.
It's true. In fact, they paid us to do it, and maybe even paid for a meal. So we might not have sat down for that meal, but they paid for the meal. I'll catch up with you soon, my friend. It's great to hear you. I'm glad things are going so well. Thanks for sharing a few minutes with us this morning.
Oh, it's so great to talk to you. We don't talk enough, and I appreciate you having me on the show. Thanks so much.
I'll do it soon. Be well. He is the best, the GOAT of inland Northwest sportscasters, Dennis Patchen, and a good buddy. He JJ, what he's got to do now, you're doing play-by-play. He's done Gonzaga and Idaho and Washington State and Seattle U, and just one of the good guys, and he knows his stuff. But he just said to us, I don't know that Gonzaga can beat Baylor.
I think a lot of us have that feeling going into tonight's game.
All right, respond to what you heard. When we come back on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
At New Mexico Highlands University, you're more than a student, you're family. Whether you're taking courses in Las Vegas, Santa Fe, Rio Rancho, Albuquerque, or Farmington, you'll get that one-on-one attention to inspire you to reach your goals. Let New Mexico Highlands help take your passion and accelerate it into a career and fulfilling life path. Find out why New Mexico Highlands is the right choice for you. Log on to NewMexicoHighlands.com today.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Plan your adventure at WNMU.edu.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Ashley Duran in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Two guys hanging around and having, drinking beers and having stories together. But good insight. And the Mark Few thing is so interesting at Gonzaga. How do you build that? And what's enough? And I'm going to go back to what Steve Alford said before he went to UCLA, where you don't mess with happiness. Mark Few may have never said it. Maybe he did. I don't know. But he sure as hell lives it. And what he's built up there, Dennis said years ago he had a conversation with Mark Few. And he said, I want to build Gonzaga to a place where this is where I want to be, where people want to come, where I want to stay forever. Spokane's a beautiful place. The Inland Northwest is nice. If you don't need the bright lights, if you enjoy finding a river or a stream to go fishing and you like skiing and you want to go play golf, and you don't need the big city and you can jump out of a plane and go to Seattle if you want, or hell, drive. It's 3.5 hours. You can live pretty well in Spokane, and a lot of people have figured that out, and that's what Mark Few's built there. And it was I really was interested to hear what he was going to say when I asked him, "Are you concerned about the North Carolina job?"
Yeah, and I know
Terry on the line.
Last week I was someone that was saying, you know what, let's put a little more emphasis into this. Maybe North Carolina could be a job that Mark Few would listen to. But hearing what Dennis had to say, the connection to Oregon and seeing Mark Few turn down that job, I might be in that camp now of people saying, yeah, you know what, he's not going to go anywhere. Because why would he? Because here's the difference. Steve Alford wasn't in a national championship game. Steve Alford wasn't in the Final Four at the University of New Mexico. So he doesn't have to go to Gonzaga to make that type of run. Steve Alford went to UCLA, got to the Sweet 16. So that's the difference between Gonzaga jumping somewhere else and then a school like New Mexico jumping somewhere else, because the dude is undefeated. He's in a national championship game. He has the opportunity to win these games. And, oh, by the way, as you said, he's just in contention now for potentially the number one player in the nation, too, next year.
So let me draw you a parallel, and while not an absolute parallel, it feels a little closer. Chris Peterson, what he built at Boise State and went to Washington. And then, for whatever reasons, it didn't work as well, and obviously he's out. Does that feel similar to you, with Chris Peterson leaving Boise to go to Washington and Mark Few at Gonzaga?
I see it, but the entire difference is a lot of these guys that we see make the jump, very few of them can do this consistently.
Yes.
And that's the difference. Like, we're talking, oh, you went on a run to the Final Four, that's awesome. Can you build something? Well, then you never get back. This is a dude, like, we expect Gonzaga, like, to win a national championship. Like, that's the level we have for this program. Other places, you try to cash in. I think that's what Porter Moser and what he did at Loyola Chicago the last few years, who, by the way, is the new head coach at Oklahoma, so he finally did jump, is you see there's, unfortunately, ceilings at these other places that Gonzaga doesn't have that. Gonzaga is a national contender year in and year out.
Terry, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Terry.
How are you guys doing this morning? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. For the women's Final Four, it's fun to watch games when you really don't have a dog in a fight. And, and both teams were playing their hearts out. What I thought was tough was, 2 minutes and 3 seconds when it was a blatant Stanford kicked the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, bad call.
They go, well, if it had happened 4 seconds later, they would have reviewed it. And I know you can't review everything, and in the first quarter things happen, but it was kind of sad, as hard as they were both playing, that 4 seconds made a big deal, especially when you're talking about a 1-point game. The one thing also, I think Arizona was the Dak Prescott of the Final Four being left out of the video. It was kind of sad. You have 4 teams and only put 3 of them in your Final Four video. And what else? Gino, I thought he was a little whiny when his team lost. Yes, they're young, but when he was so blatant about, they're immature. I mean, okay, Gino, it's tough, and maybe they didn't handle the pressure well, but I think he could have handled the press conference better.
Probably.
On the men's side, I think Suggs, as much as what he did was knowing, they had talked about earlier in the game when he had his head up coming up the court to make a pass to Timmy. So much of the time somebody takes a shot too soon when it's at the end, and besides obviously making it, but he timed it perfectly to get as far as he could get up the court and still get off a solid shot, because it was a good step and a half inside the midcourt, and so from that end, props to him. I had obviously I took the easy way out way back at Baylor Gonzaga in the final. I started with that and went reversed in my pool, and I don't think I could have got any more wrong besides having those two in the final. I think I've finished in the bottom 10% of whatever I was doing. But I hope tonight the officials.
Yeah, you got points coming.
Again. Yes, sir?
No, you got points coming. Whoever wins, you got points coming, it sounds like.
Yes, but, it was – so tonight I hope they let them play. I think Baylor will be affected more by foul problems. They have that rotation. They do have the backups, but they seem like they have a solid every 4 or 5 minutes bringing people in, and they did struggle against Villanova when Mitchell got in foul trouble. I just hope it's a heck of a game tonight, and we can enjoy talking about it tomorrow, whether it's a last-second shot and that. But you guys, again, have a great day, and I appreciate everything.
See you, Terry. Thanks. So calls are a tough part. That kickball was blatant. I'll take you back. If we asked Dennis or any Gonzaga fan about 3 years ago when they played North Carolina in the finals about the call that cost that they feel Gonzaga feels, the possession call that cost Gonzaga the game, that it looked pretty obvious that it was out off North Carolina and it was awarded to North Carolina and gave them an extra bucket, and that game was, that's part of it. You hope it's not, but I don't know. That was a tough call for Arizona, but it was with 2:03 to go, not with 0:3 to go, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, well, as Terry mentioned, there's always moments that stand out more some than others because they do happen later in games when you hope that that those are situations where they should be more correctable, but even something that's just outside that window, you can think back and have that what if moment, but still 1 point game down to it. Arizona had their chance, and we'll see what we get at tonight out of Gonzaga and Baylor.
All right, got time for phone calls. I'll get through as many emails as I can as well as you've been getting them in. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. You can find us on the Twitter. It's _JJ Buck. Follow him there. Who is a candidate for LASIK at Coleman Vision? Well, I think anybody, any day you can walk into Coleman Vision. And patients range from doctors to lawyers to college kids to housewives to firefighters to police officers to nurses to athletes who just want to see better and better their careers, to idiots like me or people like you. If you think you're a candidate for LASIK, go take a look at what they're doing at Coleman Vision. If you're going to do this, this is where you go to the absolute best. I did. I saw Dr. Stephen Coleman in 2003, and it changed my life. The LASIK that he performed back then still has me seeing without lenses today. It's unbelievable what they can do there, and the technology has gotten even better. And Dr. Coleman's been in on that technology, developing that technology, which is used around the world. And people come from everywhere to get their LASIK done at Coleman Vision because they understand Dr. Coleman's reputation. And for me, they just became family. Not only did they change my life and the way I see every single day, but they're family. Good people who have been unbelievable in this community for years. If you are interested in LASIK, you want to see better without lenses, you don't want your glasses fogging up wearing your mask, you're tired of dealing with all that, go to ColemanVision.com, learn about them, and then make a call. 505-821-8880. Make that appointment and go see Dr. Stephen Coleman. 505-821-8880, and let him change your life as well. Seeing is believing, and Coleman Vision certainly has me believing.
You're clear. I've got Francisco on the line.
Wide open, Jaden Phillips. Oh, he shattered him like dirty laundry into a hamper.
That was a Derrick Henry style stiff-on.
Motion, there's Winnikoff. Lane, it looks like Winnikoff's wide open over here, but he's threatened on the play. That was Jaden Brown, and he's going to have to just chuck this one up, and that's a touchdown! Wow! I can't believe he was in position for that play.
So, things are looking good. They'll want to avoid Webskowski on the kick, but it gets to the 10. Or I beg your pardon. Now across the 50. That's going to be an opening house call. He's going all the way, and he's going to go untouched. 90 yards for Lujan, and that is a nightmare start for Clovis.
That young.
Nice serve by Moore. Wow. Outstanding work. The middle blocker, Haley Areola.
Gomez again, the motion man. This one instead handed off. And right through the gut, there's a bunch of space. Nice little hop there. Etrisco fans are on their feet, and for good reason, as that's a 41-yard touchdown. Jaden Cowley.
And 11 for the Tigers. Fairman will roll to his right. Throws on the down and out. Caught. Trying to go for the goal line. Leads it in, touchdown. What a play.
Jaguars, the snap handed off to Cowley. The big man Sweeps the side one. Cutting back inside. He turns around the other direction. He's heading this way. And he's got to just beat one more. And he does. Touchdown.
Cover a ball. Barella in the serve. There's a dig. Boom, the kill shot. Number 6. I tell you what, man. Morgan Torres on the kill shot. 7 seconds left. People are stunned. There's just so much scoring on this game. Will the Hawks be able to respond with the big play? There's a fake on the right side. He's got an open field. Oh my gosh, and just like that, holy cow, amazing. Just like that, the Hawks score. Number 2, Caden Valdez on the right side.
Remember on the punter. He'll pop this up. The man to receive it is also wearing number 3, Isaiah Garcia. He does catch it off the hop. Nice move by him. He's got some room out there on the right-hand side. He's got to get around his opposite number. He does. Gets one block in. He gets around the last guy. Can he get in? And there's the first points for the Manzano Monarchs. Isaiah Garcia all the way here from his own 45.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real
Content
tough.
that we weren't able to get to today. Dodgers and Rockies over the weekend. You see the Dodgers scored 3 runs on no hits in the first inning yesterday. 3 runs on how?
I don't know if I call that a lot of content we missed from that series, but
Shohei Ohtani hitting a home run.
Don't stand on home plate.
Don't stand
Come on,
but
dude.
that looked nasty too. First of all, that was a damn Little League play, right? I mean, it was literally like you'd watch at your local Little League. The ball bouncing all over, overthrow, misfire, bad throw, slide in. Dude comes to. He's lucky that he didn't get taken out, but he's okay. But Ohtani not only hit a home run yesterday, but threw pitching over 100 miles an hour. Nationals still haven't played. I mean, all that. Jordan Spieth won this weekend, going into the Masters this weekend. Is that significant to you? He's been so close. That's
Everyone
significant.
back on the bandwagon.
Yep. Lobo women's soccer wins 1-0. They beat Colorado College. They win the Mountain West. They have 2 games left. They won the Mountain Division of the Mountain West Conference already, which is a pretty good season for Heather's team.
It's a fantastic season. I am so excited to see this team play Mountain West title game locked in April 17th. Now I'm very disappointed that the Mountain West is saying this is at a neutral site location, which to me is stupid and makes 0 sense. It should be, all right, whatever the tiebreaker was with after record, whether it's goal differential, because it's looking like it's probably going to be New Mexico and San Diego State. One of those teams should host it. Why the heck are you playing a title game at a neutral site location? Makes 0 sense to me. Stupid decision by the Mountain
Where's it
West.
going to be? And it's
They haven't
probably
even
2
announced
best
it
weather
yet.
places you can get in this league, right? They'll probably play it in Colorado and it'll be snowing.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So you're
guessing.
telling
Maybe
me your
Vegas, maybe
your
Vegas.
football teams can host a title game for their
host it.
conference championship in
That's
the
what they're
one
trying to do.
season that this is unlike anything else. Usually you have your tournament as a designated location. We get it. This year they said, you know what, we're splitting it up into divisions, making it simple. You win a division, you play for a title game, and you're going to put it at a neutral site where no one's going to show up to that game.
Yep.
It's stupid.
That's too bad. Yeah, I would guess Vegas where everything else is. All right. Let me get you a few emails. Dan says, best thing about the play. Okay, let me ask you this. When does a shot become a fluke as opposed to a good shot? Was Jalen Suggs' shot 33 feet? Dude, that's Dame Lillard's easy range. That's Steph Curry. I mean, you see those guys pull up from where he shot all the time. Was that shot a fluke, or was that just a damn good shot. The reason that I might lean fluke is because it was a bank he wouldn't have called bank. But I'll bet that guy can make that shot 30% of the time.
I'm going to say half court line for me. Like once you get into the front court, you get in the more, all right, you're comfortable, more normal motion type of shot.
Okay. Dan says, best thing about the playoffs, Jeffrey Juan Jose and Bobcat, is there's no Duke, Carolina, or Louisville, or Kentucky. But it's such a great game that we went into extra innings. It's a bummer it had to end on a fluke shot from almost midfield that banked in. A conclusion of total luck destroyed 3 hours of great play. I just don't know that I think that was total luck. It was a crazy shot. The bank part makes it kind of fluky because nobody's trying to bank one in from 33 feet out. But I mean, dudes make 33-footers, certainly in the NBA on a regular basis. Kind of crazy the way it was because it was so frantic.
There's a little bit, yes, but Terry's point was great. Awareness to get in that position. So many guys catch that and still shoot one of those shots with 3 seconds on the clock. And so we see all this time taken off the clock as the ball's in the air.
Yeah.
So you have to credit Suggs for his ability to get in that position and not get cut off and not fumble the basketball, but to get to that point, to get that type of shot off.
Yeah, the fact that and he says that we practice that all the time. I've been missing them lately, but I do that all the time, and I'll bet they do. That's what you practice situations. I'm going to give you a little bit of the luck element because of the bank, but I'm going to give that young man a ton of credit for, to your point, getting himself in position, clock awareness, finding his spot on the floor, knowing how much time was left on the clock to get that done, and launching it with, it left his hand with about 0.03, on the clock, right? 0.3 on the clock. I'm not sure. I think it's all luck. I think there's an element of, man, that was really, really clutch. And by the way, it wasn't some guy who had scored all night either. I mean, it was a fabulous, fabulous player. Carl says, Timex Terry, ? Did I hear Isaiah Chavez is hurt already? Unflippin' believable. And Hughes and Tavaka are still out. Did Carl save the season begging for a quarterback that has him, that has taken a licking and keep on ticking? If this guy turns out to be that durable quarterback, just watch everyone steal the Team Timex Terry from Carl, just as they did Craig Reed. Carl, you can have it. If Terry Wilson comes in and he gets hit a lot and keeps going, and you want to call him Timex Terry because he takes a licking and keep on kicking, put it on the board, JJ. Write it down on your wall in ink. Carl called him Timex Terry. He can have that moniker. It's his. Everybody wants ownership. That can be his. Fair enough.
Got it.
All right, write that down. This is from Mike. He says, Aaron Rodgers might be getting a lot of attention for Jeopardy, Jeff Alou, but so is OD Bobcat. This weekend it sounded like Eric is going to restructure his contract trying to keep Bobcat in his house. What's going on with you and the house, Bob? You okay? I mean, is he upset you're moonlighting with us? Does he feel
he was
he's
just kind of pulling the leg here.
I missed the House of Strauss this weekend. Kind of giving you a hard time for having fun over here?
Just a little bit.
Poor Strauss. He's giving you burritos, isn't he? Pancakes. You get fed on that show.
Yes, I do.
You don't get fed on this show. Yeah, you don't get fed on this show. And he's in person, which makes it a hell of a lot easier. You actually
We're going to struggle with a bidding war in that case.
Yeah. Any word on that, Bob? You here this week and until Friday comes and Carlisle says, yep, you got another week?
That's the size of it. That's the way it's going.
Yeah, well, you'll be here for about 4 or 5 months doing this, so it's gonna be my over under JJ 2. Let's put it at 3 weeks, 3 more weeks. Bob's on our show.
I'm taking the over. Go, Bobo.
As long as I'm needed here.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you being here. Hey, Aaron, great work on the TV side too. Yeah, I do too. Did I get all these in? Oh, there's another Bob one, but it's got video to it, so it doesn't play well on the radio. All right,
1 minute.
Say thank you to Danny Gonzalez, the Lobo football coach. He spent a half hour with us today. Dennis Patchen from KHQ in Spokane was also with us. Jim Rome show is next today. Nope. The Herd with Colin Cowherd will follow that. Sports Bar with Trulio and Carlisle comes your way at 4 o'clock, and then the national championship game, Gonzaga and Baylor. They'll tip off at 7:20. We'll come back and do more award-winning radio tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. You in?
See you tomorrow.
All right, enjoy the day. You going to get to watch the game with Austin? Will you know what's going on?
We'll see. He'll be running around excited regardless.
Beautiful. Aaron, great work. Bob, thanks again. Terrific job. We'll catch you tomorrow morning. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.